What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing 10 pro tips for playing as Zeratul in co-op as requested by Kerisband, who is supporting me in Pulse Cannon tier. These tips are meant to be helpful for players of all skill levels, but not exhaustive necessarily. So let's begin. Number 1. Use rally points to look for artifact fragments. Artifact fragments are special power-ups that Zeratul collects one at a time, and they unlock special abilities and upgrades whenever you collect them. To collect artifact fragments, Zeratul must first use prophetic vision to reveal its location on the map. If you know where the fragment is, you just go there and collect it. Easy as that. To make your search faster, you can use your nexus or production structures. Their rally points are visible on the prophetic vision, so if you select the control group with your nexus or production and rally them all around the map, you will at some point see the rally on your prophetic vision, meaning you've clicked on the spot where the fragment is. All you need to do is get Zeratul to that point where you clicked, and you found the fragment, like so. This works on any map and will greatly reduce the time and effort spent on looking for fragments. Just use prophetic vision again to reveal the fragment itself, and then set your rally back to its original location. Number 2. Save Void Seeker teleport for getting fragments, then use Blink to escape. You want to get the artifact fragments as fast as possible, but they're often in faraway locations and heavily guarded. So, to get the artifact safely and Zeratul safely out, you want to save the Void Seeker, the teleport ability, for when you have an artifact fragment ready to collect, then teleport using that Void Seeker to the location of the fragment, collect fragment, then just blink out to safety. The artifact fragment and the Void Seeker have right around the same cooldowns, so if you only use the Void Seeker to teleport to the fragments whenever you have it ready, you should always have a Void Seeker available to teleport to that location. Number 3. Build your Tesseract cannons and monoliths in your base, project them into the fight, and manually cancel them after the fights. Tesseract cannons are static defense structures that can hit both ground and air forces and provide detection. Most importantly, they can project themselves directly onto the battlefield. Only the shields actually get projected, and when the shields run out, only one health point remains and they are cancelled. But the good news is, even when they are cancelled on the field, the actual cannons themselves are not destroyed. They are still in your base safely, and they will regenerate the charge to project once again, and they will be basically at full health. The advantage of this is that you gain value over time, because the amount of money you spent on your cannons is not lost. You never trade the cannons, just their shields. So you can eventually go stronger over time. The same can be said about your Tesseract monoliths. The difference is that these monoliths deal splash damage, and they are not bought by using money. They are acquired by using this first top bar over here, and you project them in your base. You do not build your Tesseract monoliths on the map. If they get destroyed, they're permanently lost. You want to project, you want to build your monoliths and your cannons inside your base and only project them to fight. You do not want to lose these expensive investments. Only their projections, which are free and time-based. Now, I said the projections are time-based. That means that whenever you use them, you have to wait for a cooldown before you can use them again. The cooldown actually activates once the projection gets despawned. So you can see here in the bottom left on the command or the bottom right on the command card, the projection only starts the cooldown only starts running once you cancel the projection from the monolith. So if you want to have as many uses as possible on your projections of your cannons and your monoliths, you will not cancel the projections once the monoliths and the Tesseract cannons projections have nothing else to fight. Otherwise, you'll just be wasting their uptime. You have to cancel these after the fight. Otherwise, yeah, you'll be wasting uptime and you'll be wasting the cooldown charge. Never leave the cannon projections uncancelled after a fight. Otherwise, you'll be wasting valuable time on the cooldown of these cannons, which can take a while. Number 4. Use void arrays to teleport your forces across the map. Void arrays are air units that come in pairs and cannot attack, but can load and unload units when deployed. They function like Nidus networks, so units loaded in one of them can be unloaded in any of them. Once you complete your constructs bay and collect the second fragment, the void array will gain unlimited capacity, which allows you to transport your entire army through them. You can siege up one void array beside all your production, rally your production to that same void array, and have the other in the control group across the map, where you can just have all your army available to fight right away, and any reinforcements are immediately available to fight as well. Number 5. For most situations, Zeratul attack speed mastery is better. In Zeratul's first mastery power set, you're given two options: either increase Zeratul's attack speed or his combat unit's attack speed. If you're going for cannons, you don't have any units to speak of, so Zeratul attack speed is better. If you're going for ambushers, they get their power from the triple blink, meaning you just blink in and out and the shade they leave behind does the damage. So again, not the combat units. If you're going for the shield guards, they reflect the attacks and they have a beam attack anyway, so again, it doesn't work. And again, if you're going for Void Templar, the blink does the damage, not the actual auto attack. So again, for most situations, I guess if you're going for the enforcers, that's when you want combat unit attack speed, but in most other situations, Zeratul attack speed is just more helpful. Number 6, a bit of a long one. When using Herald of the Void Prestige, P3, use support cooldown reduction mastery. For others, use artifact fragment spawn rate mastery. If you actually consider what the prestige is, Herald of the Void limits you to 2 artifact fragments, so it's not that important to find artifacts because you only have 2 of them to collect. I guess it's still important, but you only have 2 of them, so you don't need to really rush them out. So you want to have the cooldown reduction instead, so you can have the monoliths, the Zoria Legion stuff available to you more frequently. But for any other prestige, you have at least 3 artifact fragments to collect. So if you have Knowledge Seeker especially, you can collect up to 103 fragments. So you definitely want to have more of them available when you fight. So you definitely want artifact fragment spawn rate mastery for any other prestige of Zeratul's. Number 7. Tesseract Monolith is the best choice for the first artifact power most of the time. Now, I used to enjoy using the Void Suppression Crystal myself some time ago, but I realized that these Tesseract Monoliths just provide more value over time because they keep being available over and over again, and the more Tesseract Monoliths you build in your base, the more powerful you'll be later on, whereas the Void Suppression Crystal is only a one-time use per cooldown. Even though it's a bigger area, you gain more value with the Tesseract Monoliths as time goes on. So it became a no-brainer for me at this point to just go for the monoliths. And of course, the Stasis Beam is kind of a meme, to be honest. So yeah, I don't really recommend that because it's a Zeratul starts out with that thing, sort of thing. That's why you use it at level 1 and stuff. But after level 1, you don't really need it anymore. Number 8, Avatar of Essence is the best choice for the third artifact power 100% of the time. The Avatar of Essence is a powerful top bar that demotes enemy units and makes our forces shoot twice as fast. It's pretty much a no-brainer, and it's unfortunate that I have to put it in a 10 pro tips video because unfortunately some people have been seen trying to use the other guy, which I guess is a glorified High Templar with much more health, but you know, it needs to be said. Unfortunately, it needs to be said. The Avatar of Essence is just superior. Number 9. Use autocast on Shield Guard Reflective Barrier unless you can use them manually. Shield Guards are ground forces that can shoot both up and down and cost only 1 to play for Zeratul and have about 240 health. That's a lot. But they also have healing abilities, or at least shield regeneration abilities that help them survive for longer, and most impressive of all, they have an ability called Reflective Barrier that unlocks on the third artifact fragment that gives them a chance to bounce the enemy's attacks back to them as long as they're projectile. So if it's a melee attack, they will not bounce it, but if it's a ranged attack, they do have a chance to bounce it. So if you're a player like me who doesn't really have the focus needed to activate the reflective barrier one at a time, you can just right click on its icon on the command card here to make them auto cast it whenever they're hit and have it on cooldown. So that will just make it used right there. But if you're more like Tutu, if you're really a good player, you might wanna just put your shield guards in the control group and manually activate the reflective barrier. The most important thing is that you use it when you can. If you either just leave it on there without auto casting it and never use it, it's wasted. And if you have the micro ability to activate it manually, if you're a 1v1 player and you just set it auto cast, it's also wasted. So know where you stand skill wise and play accordingly, basically. But the bottom line is you want to use your shield guard's reflective barrier to shoot the enemy's projectiles back at them. Number 10. On some maps you can trap the artifact fragment spawns. On this Reddit post 2 years ago, it was revealed that on 6 specific maps, Minor Evacuation, Dead of Night, Mal Warfare, Dawning Vermilion, Oblivion Express, Cradle of Death, you can actually trap the artifact fragment. What that means is you will make all the artifact fragments spawn in a specific spot if you put buildings all around it and prevent the artifact from escaping. How it works in practice is, if you are able to find the origin point of the artifact fragments and put these buildings in this configuration around it, you'll be able to make all of them spawn within this little circle here after you find it using your prophetic vision. And you can just collect them right away. Now that is the fastest way to keep collecting artifact fragments, and if you have the second prestige enabled, you can actually collect something like 9, 10 or more of them in a single game, and that's a lot, and it'll power you up really nicely for you to have a lot of pushing power and defending power later on in the game. Now I will link the post down below, if I remember. I hope I remember. I will link the post down below, but basically you want to have the wall here that's at least 2 squares thick. So yeah, 2 squares thick on all sides so that the fragments won't escape, and you have to make sure that the origin point is in the middle of all these buildings, otherwise it'll basically escape and you gotta find it again. So those are 10 pro tips for playing as Zeratul. I hope you found them useful, and if you did, I hope you can, spread the word of how to play Zeratul. And hope you enjoyed that also. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea what else you could do, please leave it in a comment. I will see you guys next time.